apologies for the rather dramatic thumbnail and title. Before you get too concerned, the channel isn't going anywhere. I'm still going to be on YouTube making videos for a very long time, and I'm still going to have the allotment for hopefully a long time as well. I'm not planning on going anywhere. What I mean by the end is the end of the growing season. The growing season is pretty much coming to an end now. There's not that much time left. Yes, we're going to be harvesting things well into the autumn months, but things are slowing down now, and a lot of the crops are starting to look quite tired. Some of them have stopped producing vegetables, which is expected, so I will be clearing some of them very soon. But in today's video, I just want to reflect on the growing season. A very good growing season as well at that. One of the best I've ever had. In fact, probably the best, actually. The best year I've ever had on the allotment in 6 years. I put that down to the weather that we've had in the UK. We have actually had the warmest summer on record. The Met Office have recently just announced. I'm not going to complain too much because we've had a really good growing season and things have grown amazingly this year, but it is a bit concerning as well that we are breaking temperature records seemingly every single year. Actually, we've had 4 heat waves this summer in the UK. So again, I'm going to reflect on the growing season in this video and go over each crop around the plot and just tell you how they've done. And I'd like you guys to share with me as well how your crops have done. It's not the same for everyone. Maybe some things haven't done so well for you, but I'd love you to share that with me as well. And yeah, we can talk about how things have done for both of us. The biggest job now is going to be clearing the allotment ready for winter. Harvesting more stuff and clearing more stuff. It is looking pretty wild, I must say. So we're going to start off from the very beginning of the season. Probably the first thing we harvested this year that I can remember is the asparagus. We planted this like 2 years ago, and this year we got our first ever crop. And you know what, we got a good few handfuls of asparagus spears from here. They were really nice, and I'm sure next year we're probably going to get an even better crop because the plants are looking really good now. There's lots and lots of lush leafy growth on the go, so the plant is going to be nice and strong for next year, hopefully. I planted some new varieties of bare root strawberries late winter as well, so this is the first year that I've grown these plants. And we've got Malwina, El Santa and Marshmallow strawberries, and to be honest, they did pretty well for their first year. I do expect a bigger crop next year, as they always are. In the second year they are better. I've cut all the foliage back as well about a month ago to let them regrow nice fresh leaves, which they have. They're looking pretty good now. I've got like 20 or 30 runners from these plants as well on my plot too, so we can really multiply our strawberry crop in the years to come. Now I must say the brassicas have done probably the best out of all the crops this year. We have had some absolutely incredible broccoli this year. Too much actually. I was giving some of it away, believe it or not, but we had some that were like the size of both my hands put together like that. They were huge. Usually I only get small heads of broccoli, so this was a big win for me. Again, I put it down to the sunny spring we had. It was really dry and very sunny. I also grew a lot of stuff in raised beds as well, and I think that was another factor. The soil was very rich, nice and loose, well draining. It really did work wonders for all the brassicas, in fact most crops on the allotment, except for one, but we'll go over that in a moment. Also the cabbages as well, they were brilliant. In fact, I'm still eating one cabbage which I harvested 6 weeks ago. They store quite well, cabbages, much longer than I thought actually. And we've got Brussels sprouts at the back over there as well, which are doing really well. I'm probably going to take the tops of them off though to encourage sprouts to grow, and I may actually feed them with a high nitrogen feed as well to encourage more of them sprouts to grow. At the moment we've got some Christmas potatoes in one side of this bed here, Charlotte's, and I've got some of these winter Savoy cabbages here, which actually seem to be doing okay. I was worried about clubroot because some of the later sown broccoli got clubroot, but these seem to be pulling through okay. We also have some just Golden Acre Primo cabbage here as well, another sowing. They're doing okay as well actually. I've got some red Calibos cabbage over there as well, kale, black Tuscany and red Russian, and we've also got some purple sprouting broccoli at the very end as well. So lots of productivity going into the winter months, providing that they don't die. We shall see. And I almost forgot, how on earth could I forget the cauliflower which we had this year. The cauliflower has done absolutely incredible this year, and I'm so glad that I decided to sow some. I wasn't going to in the end, but I thought I'd try my chances, and honestly I did not regret it. I only planted like 4 or 5 plants I think here, but honestly they did amazing. They were like that, and we had some lovely cauliflower cheese. I have sown some more cauliflower in August. They are all year round cauliflowers, so hopefully I can overwinter them and get a harvest in the spring. Beetroot, that's done really good as well. And just the other day actually I harvested some huge beetroot. They were massive, and yeah, they are best picked smaller, to be honest. If they get too big they can take forever to cook, but I'm going to be pickling some because we've got loads more here to pick as well. Probably a few dozen if I were to hazard a guess, and we've also got more in another bed over there as well, so we've got plenty to see us through the autumn. And actually last month I sowed some more as well. Didn't really need to, but I did, and yeah, they've grown so well. I think the reason why, again, raised beds. Last winter I built a load of new raised beds on the plot. I used this 1x6 inch wood here, and they're just 12-inch deep, these beds, so they're not that deep, but they are just a perfect depth in my opinion. They are brilliant. I built about 12 of them around the plot because the soil is just so heavy clay on my plot and nothing was really growing. But this year it's just been in complete contrast to last year, like the polar opposite to last year. Last year was awful. We didn't get much success with most crops, but this year we've had just completely different. So we went a little bit overboard with onions this year, and I'm kind of glad that we did, because had we not gone overboard we probably wouldn't have got a crop. I planted a lot of onions, and that's all I'm going to say. I sowed them all from seed at Christmas time, as I always do. There are many benefits to growing onions from seed as opposed to sets. They're less likely to bolt, they're much cheaper and cost effective, and you end up with more varieties available as well. They're just a few, but I've always ended up with better results, bigger onions, and I've just found it to be much more of an enjoyable experience. Anyway, I planted onions in these 4 beds here, and I planted Aylshire Craig in this one, and then in these 3 I planted Rheinsberger Dutch onions and red magnate onions. Now the red magnate and the Rheinsberger Dutch onions in these 3 beds here didn't do very well at all. In fact, a lot of them rotted. I think there was some allium leaf miner, some sort of fungal disease as well, and we only really got a few small bunches of onions from these 3 beds. Not very good, let's just say that. And I think the reason why is because the soil was too rich, maybe, and the soil was just holding on to too much moisture. I think I put too much compost in these. But on the flip side, this bed here, which is filled with the exact same materials, by the way, you know, the exact same soil, there's a bit more depth to these raised beds though. These are a few inches higher. These had Aylshire Craig onions in, and they did absolutely amazing. They were huge onions, and in fact we've got enough Aylshire Craig onions to see us through most of the winter. I think we have loads of them. If I were to have a guess, we've probably got at least 100 of them at a decent size just from this one bed here. It's really quite remarkable actually. So the Aylshire Craig pulled through, gave us a crop. If it weren't for them it would have been a disaster. So yeah, maybe onions aren't that good for raised beds, I don't know. But now we have some dwarf French beans growing in this bed. I've got some outdoor tomatoes as well, cocktail crush, and in the past I've had tomatoes grow outside into November, so I've got no doubts about these here doing that. And these plants here are just from side shoots. I took some side shoots off the greenhouse tomatoes, planted them, and this is what we've got. But I'm not pruning them, I'm just letting them do their own thing. I don't know how much of a crop they'll produce, but there's quite a few flowers on them, but it is getting quite late now, so maybe they won't really do much. Now, I don't usually have much success with swede either. I tried growing swede a few years ago, and yeah, I had no luck. But I've grown them in these raised beds this year. I thought I'd try them out, and you know what? They've done pretty well. Yeah, there's some pretty decent sized swedes in there, to be fair. So, and carrots as well. Carrots have done amazing. We've got 2 beds of carrots. We've got sweet candle carrots, autumn king, early Nance, and we've got some heritage multicoloured varieties. But they have been amazing. Actually, for the last couple of years, carrots have been quite good on my plot, but this year they have been much better. There are so many of them, and I've picked some really nice ones, and I've not seen a single bit of carrot root fly, which is very strange. I'm not too sure why. We do have some fine mesh netting on this one. There probably is a reason, to be honest with you. Now, I planted lots of leeks in this bed here, and yes, a few of them have bolted, as you can see. I've just sort of left them to their own devices. But we've had a pretty decent crop of leeks here, I must say. We've got some later sown ones here, which are growing away happily over here as well. Those should see us through the winter. And I've got some direct sown ones on the back here, which I'm probably going to move and transplant in other areas when we start clearing beds. We've had lots of leek and potato pie. I've made leek and potato soup as well, and we've even had leeks with our Sunday roast as well. They have been excellent. 4 years ago, back in 2021, I was thinking to myself, I could do with some apple trees on the allotment, so I went to the shop and I got some apple trees and I planted one. It was a variety called Discovery, which I planted. The thing cost me about 20 odd quid. But I'm glad that I bought it because it has been so good this year. Honestly, I've picked a massive mushroom crate of apples last week. It was amazing. And they're so sweet as well. My son loves them. He loves his apples, and he's really been enjoying these ones. Also, Victoria plums as well. The one on the new plot over there, but also this one as well. Although we have had quite a lot of the plum moth as well, which isn't very nice. You know, you cut into a plum, or worse, bite into a plum, and you have this horrible maggot looking at you, which you don't want. But most of the plums were okay, and we actually had some nice plum jam. I made some of that, and even fresh, they've been really nice as well. Courgettes, well, they have given us a glut, obviously, as they always do. I've got 3 courgette plants in here. I was probably pushing my luck a little bit, you know, probably asking for it really, because they gave us a massive amount of courgettes. Over the last 2 or 3 months, they have been great. We've been picking some really big ones. I mean, I'd never planned to harvest big ones. I would look at a courgette on Monday and it might be, you know, quite small. Maybe I could let that get a little bit bigger, and then Tuesday it would be an absolute giant marrow, which I don't even know what to do with. What am I supposed to do with this? Too many courgettes, to be honest with you, but I've been doing something a little bit different with them this year. I've been frying them in garlic butter, some herbs, salt and pepper, getting a nice bit of colour on them, and they've been really, really nice. In April of this year, I sowed some pumpkin seeds, and in May I planted them outside in horse manure in this bed here, jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and I just let them take over this entire area, and they've done really good. There's some really nice ones. There's 10 of them, which I've just counted. Yeah, it'd be good to bring the kids down here this year to pick some pumpkins. in this polytunnel here, we don't seem to be growing much else apart from marigolds. They are doing amazing, but the tomatoes which I planted in here, not so much. I planted quite a few heritage varieties, and yes, we did get some heritage tomatoes, but not much at all. Quite disappointing actually. For the space that I've used here, it's not very good. The hybrid tomatoes on this side, Sun Gold, Honeymoon, Cocktail Crush, they've been alright. You know, I picked some pretty decent sized Honeymoon tomatoes actually, really. They've been pretty good. And even from the Cocktail Crush tomatoes in the greenhouse, which I'm conducting an interesting experiment with this year. And that experiment is growing 3 tomato plants of the same variety in 30 litre buckets, growing them in the exact same compost. The only difference is I'm feeding 1 tomato plant with Tomarite tomato feed, I'm feeding 1 tomato plant with diluted urine, and 1 tomato plant with nothing, just water. And so far they've yielded about 5 kilograms of tomatoes from the 3 plants, and there's still plenty more fruit to pick once they ripen. So we've got a decent crop from those, but the heritage varieties, very disappointing to be honest. And in fact, I've let this polytunnel get a bit out of control. I've not really been in here much over the last few weeks. I've only been in here to pick some fruits. This lot here has just fallen over. I've not pruned it. Now this area, there's a lot of weeds growing around here, I must say. I've let it get out of hand a little bit, but there's French beans growing here, and the variety is Cobra, and wow, they have done so well this year. One of the best crops on the plot for sure. They've sort of gone past their best now, and a lot of these beans now I'm going to leave and save seed from to grow next year, because I am definitely growing Cobra French beans again next year. Honestly, I've been picking massive baskets full of them. I've frozen quite a lot of them as well. I have grown Firestorm runner beans on the other side as well, which are apparently supposed to be a stringless variety. But I've found that they're quite stringy if you let them stay on the plant too long. So, whereas with the French beans, you can leave them on the plant for quite a while and they don't go stringy. So I might just grow French beans next year and forget the runner beans. I found that the flavour of the French beans is much better. I prefer it over the runner beans. But these were grown on the shadiest part of my plot. This side of the plot only gets sun in the morning, and they've done really well. Lettuce has done quite well as well. They've been brilliant. We have got some more there which we sowed about a month ago. We've got some iceberg here and some more lovely leaves here, some baby gem there as well. And I have actually sown some more, and they're in the greenhouse as well, to hopefully have some winter harvests. Now in the big polytunnel we've grown peppers this year, almost exclusively actually in this polytunnel. The only other thing I've grown in here is a couple of Sun Gold tomatoes in a grow bag, which didn't do very well, and some cucumbers at the back over there. The peppers which I planted in here, we planted some yellow Fiesta peppers, New Ace peppers, and King of the North peppers. And the King of the North peppers are just absolutely massive. They are huge. We've picked some really good ones. I've harvested 2 mushroom trays full of them so far, and there's still quite a lot of peppers left in here. They've been amazing. I've frozen some of them. I'm probably going to freeze more of them to stick in curries and pasta later on in the winter. The thing which I'm going to do differently next year though is how I support them. I used bamboo canes to support them and jute twine to tie them to the bamboo supports, but they just fell over all over the place. Wasn't too much of an issue because the plant still produced fruit fine. It's just we did get a few branches snapping off and some of the fruits were touching the soil and rotting. Next year when I plant the peppers and dig the hole, I'm going to put some string in the hole, put the pepper plant on top, and then have the string going up to the frame of the polytunnel. Now, the mini munch cucumbers. Boy, we have had so many of these mini munch cucumbers, and it only cost us like £3 for some seeds, and we have definitely had our money's worth of mini munch cucumbers. I am not joking. Honestly, it's hard to say how many we've had, because for the past 2 months we've been harvesting baskets full of them like there's no tomorrow. I've been giving them away to friends, family, pretty much anyone that can take these cucumbers off my hands, because they have been, honestly, I can't believe how many cucumbers we've actually been picking from these plants. We have 2 cucumber plants here, and then we have 4 in the little greenhouse, I think. So 6 mini munch cucumber plants. To be honest, that's probably too many. That is a lot. Why did I plant that many? I don't know. But honestly, so prolific. Really happy with them. Just look at them, they are just fantastic. I'm just going to pick these few now. They are starting to slow down though. I mean, the plants are starting to go yellow, which is to be expected. September, things start to, you know, die off a little bit. They've used a lot of their energy now, but they have been great. And I would show you the ones in the greenhouse, but they're just the same as this, just more prolific plants, which I need to pick more cucumbers from. But yeah, they are lovely. I would highly recommend mini munch cucumbers. I've been growing mini munch now for the last 3 seasons, and they've always done well, but for some reason this year they've just done a lot better. Now over on this side of the plot here, which is a bit shaded, this is sort of near the front of the plot behind the little polytunnel, we have these 2 metal Vigiga raised beds, and they've been really good. We have had rhubarb in this one. It's its first year though. We have some which I planted from crowns on one side, and on this side here, these are from seed. I decided to grow some rhubarb from seed this year to see what happens, and the plants look incredible. But yeah, I should be able to harvest some of these next year. But look at the size of the leaves. Look at that. The seed grown ones actually look better than the crown grown ones. I don't know what variety the crowns are, but the seed grown ones are called Victoria. I really do love rhubarb. We have had some nice harvests of rhubarb from the other patch which we have over there. That was good. We froze some of it. I like to eat it with yogurts. This bed here has red drumhead cabbage for Christmas. There are some slug holes on them, so hopefully we still manage to get a crop. We've had a lovely display of sunflowers this year as well, all around the plot. I've planted quite a few different ones. I've planted little Doric dwarf sunflowers, which finished a while ago, the giant single ones, Pike's Peak, and these autumn beauty ones as well, with their lovely dark coloured blooms. Now the potatoes have done really well this year as well. I've grown them in containers, as I always do. These are 30-litre buckets. I've grown some Kestrel potatoes, Maris Pipers, Cara, Setanta and Java. And I did a couple of potato reveals on the channel if you want to go and check them out after this video. Got some pretty decent harvests actually, and I've still got quite a few buckets left to harvest. I'm just going to harvest them when I need them really. I'm just storing them in here for now. But yeah, they've done incredible this year. I can't complain with the results of these. Another fruit bush that's done really well this year is the blueberries. This has been yielding now for about a month actually. I've been picking these for quite some time. There's still quite a few left on here, but also fruits like blackberries, blackcurrants, obviously the strawberries, but even some raspberries. I've been picking some of those as well. Even the cherry tree, which is just over here, even that yielded quite a decent crop, which I'm really surprised at. I made the blackcurrants into a compote, which I enjoy with my yogurts. In the big greenhouse, things are starting to look a bit tired now. I did grow sweet corn in here in buckets. That is at the back, it's all finished. I need to clear them out now. But we had some pretty decent sweet corn from in here. I grew them in the greenhouse for two reasons. One, so the rats can't get them, and two, so they grow quicker. And they do grow quicker. They gave us a crop a few weeks earlier than what they would have done outside. But the biggest reason is the rats. Because last year we grew sweet corn outside, and of course the rats got there before we did, didn't they? I would say they're a success this year, the sweet corn. We have our experimental tomatoes here, which are coming to an end soon. I think there's still quite a few fruits left on them, so we're going to let them finish, and then we're going to work out the results. We're going to finalize the results and work out how much each one has yielded. That should be very interesting indeed. Over here we've got some stuff. So we've got some spinach and Oloroso lettuce. We've got a couple of trays of spring onions here as well to plant in the polytunnel, I think, to overwinter. And we've also got some more cauliflower, of course, to overwinter, hopefully. For some strange reason, I sowed some more beetroot, like we've not already got enough. We've got lots of things on the go here. I've even sown some more carrots in these buckets over here as well. I don't think we'll need them really because we've got lots of them outside already. We've also got our parsnips here as well, which obviously we've not harvested yet. It's going to be another couple of months yet, but they look really good. And I'm hopeful that we'll get some good parsnips for Christmas as well. Is that everything? Probably not. There's probably something else I forgot, as there always is, because there's so much. But I think that was everything this year. It's been great. So yeah, what a season it has been. It's been amazing. Honestly, everything has given us a crop. Even the tomatoes, where the heritage varieties didn't give us a crop, we still had a decent crop with the hybrids, so it wasn't a complete failure. And we had a big problem with the onions, but we had a really nice crop of Ayrshire Craig, so they still did all right for us. So pretty much everything has grown this year, and it's been quite successful. So I would say this has been the best year on the plot. Sadly, things are starting to wind down now. It's September, which is a cooling time of year where things start to cool off and everything starts to die back and finish. I mean, nothing lasts forever, I suppose, does it? And we have to go into winter eventually. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a bit of a video reflecting on the growing season now that the summer has officially ended, or has it? Do you see the end of summer as September the 1st or the autumn equinox at the end of September? Do let me know in the comments below what you think, and let me know how your growing season has been as well. I'd love to know how things have done for you. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, remember to hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, and hype the video as well if you've got that option to do so. It doesn't cost anything, you just click a button and hype the video. It's a new feature that YouTube have brought out to show support for your favourite creators. So if you want to hype this video, I'd really appreciate it. And of course, the usual like as well and comment goes a long way as well. So that's all for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening and stay safe.